Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience. Now we'll start the actual today's program, and thank you each and everyone for joining today's program. And it's also a very auspicious day. Um, so this year we mark as the 28th anniversary of the creation and the installation of Buddha statue at Buddha Jayanti Park in New Delhi, which is a gift from His Holiness the Dalai Lama to the people and the government of India. So each year on this historic event of Gandhi Jayanti, so we, the House Culture Center of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, observe the Ceremony of Remembrance and also observe the Bodhicitta Day to ceremony of undertaking the aspirational Bodhisattva vows, and to be led by Venerable Geshe Dorji Damdul, our Director of Tibet House, New Delhi. And it is observed to be reflect upon the message of the Buddha and Mahatma Gandhi and His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So now I'd like to request Kishla to kindly lead the session to the proceedings. Thank you.
Tashi to all of you, and thank you to Jamala, our program coordinator of Tibet House. There's one thing that I like to remind all of us is that whenever we are doing this, the observance or undertaking the ceremony of the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, it'll be good. It'll be good if we can do it in front of, say, your shrine, your altar, and it's also that you make the light offerings, incense, flowers, and the fruits, and then make prostrations and offer a scarf and so forth. So this would be really very good to make this ceremony more complete. So with this in mind, if you did not do it today, never mind. Let's just keep this in mind that in future we do this in your own home. Online, we can do it in front of your altar, or at least say in front of you on a table. If there's a Buddha statue or the picture of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or like the feeling of the sanctity, that is very important. And then, where possible, offer lights, then the incense and so forth. This would be very good. And before we start, then make prostrations. So just to, they say, as a gesture of that, I'm going to stand up and they make prostrations. And then on behalf of all of us taking part in this ceremony, we'll offer the scarf, offer some lights, incense. Okay, this says I'm going to, and then you visualize that you're also doing not only all your family members and all German sentient beings, they're also doing the same thing while I'm doing it. And following that, we will do the actual ceremony. We'll engage in the actual ceremony. Okay. Okay, welcome you all to the Ceremony of Remembrance of the the Gandhi Jayanti, the 2nd of October. As our program coordinator, Tinjumala, very clearly indicated that this is the day that His Holiness the Dalai Lama offered a huge Buddha statue installed in the Buddha Jayanti Park, which is about like 15 kilometers from here. A beautiful park, and the statue was offered as a thank you gift from His Holiness the Dalai Lama to the government and the people of India. This is and then in connection with this, the Ceremony of Remembrance, Tibet House also have been organizing the programs like reading sutras in Pali, in Sanskrit, in Hindi, Tibetan, and English in different languages to send the vibrations of these sacred teachings of Buddha in different languages to all the parts of the world, to sanctify the world. And because of this COVID, we could not do that now. And then His Holiness, another aspect of His Holiness's advice is to undertake the ceremony of taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, which we're doing now. And also that the advice of His Holiness, Tibetos, we already started this, the observing Bodhicitta Day once every month, a monthly program. And that is the one to help the local people here in Delhi who, because of the huge family responsibilities, who cannot attend Bodhicitta retreats, which we conduct in different places, in Israel, in France, in Italy, in Finland, and in Bangalore, in Bodh Gaya, in Pune, in Dharamsala, and the Punyasthala ashram, and in many places. This is what we. Yet there are some of them who are extremely, they devoted and who are so inclined towards the practice of bodhicitta, wisdom and emptiness, yet not getting the opportunity to take part in these programs due to their huge family responsibilities. So, to keeping them in mind, we decided to conduct this program here in Tibet House once every month. So today corresponds to that day as well. So you're all welcome here, and that finally, let's not forget that the Mahatma Gandhi, no doubt, is a great enlightened being, and His Holiness has such a deep admiration in him for his courage, single-handedly to stand for the rights and the freedom of more than 1 billion human beings on this earth, and his legacies, the various legacies of the human values and so forth, which are extremely the important, the ahimsa, non-violence. His Holiness seeks a great inspiration and blessings from Mahatma Gandhi. So, and this is a greatly auspicious day. And yes, we will begin the program usually for this program, because that there are always some newcomers happening at the taking part in this program. We always tend to include some explanations here and there. So meanwhile, then it takes long time, and because of which then it can be little time consuming for so many people. And so what we do is that those of us who are new to this program, I would highly suggest that you can listen to one of the recordings of the earlier Bodhicitta retreats conducted in various places. And you can, if you don't find them, you can easily actually track them. But if you don't find them, you can just write to us, then we'll send you the links. And from there, you will get the descriptions and explanations of what we are, all the why we are doing each and every the facet of this program, why we are doing this. You will know the reason and the purpose. And the point is that without the purpose, we don't. There's no reason why should we do that if there's no purpose. So today, as we go along this the ceremony, of course, there are going to be like instructed guided meditations there. But say for every detail, the detailed explanations will not be given. Okay, with this mind, first setting proper motivation. Okay. As for the refuge fields, let us reinforce the visualization of the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened beings, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and particularly them as like a mother of a single child, and then this child is so vulnerable. Each one of us represents that child, and the mother is there for us with tremendous love, care, attention, and affection. And from your side, taking full refuge in these enlightened beings till Buddhahood for the benefit of all dear sentient beings. Bodhicitta field. Visualize your two parents on the two sides, and even though you have difficulty with your parents, it doesn't matter. Here we are trying to transcend the ordinary people's thinking. And ordinary people's thinking only gives us agitation, irritation, so forth. It doesn't give any peace. So now we're going to transcend the ordinary people's thinking, and thereby deliberately bringing to your view, your visualization, your two parents, all the family members, including children, and all dear mother sentient beings, including human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, spirits, god and goddesses, leaving none aside. And here you are the mother, all others are like your children. And the purpose of this practice, taking this aspiration Bodhisattva vow, on this very auspicious day, when His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the Son of the World, offered this incredibly precious, sanctified, consecrated Buddha statue to the people of India and the government. And that, corresponding to the day, this greatly Mahatma, meaning the great being, Mahatma Gandhi, was born. So the purpose is to awaken this spirit, awaken this mind, awaken this Buddha nature within us, that each one of us become like the Buddha Shakyamuni himself. Each one of us become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Mahatma Gandhi. That each one of us become fearless, that each one of us experiences the infinite happiness, embracing all other dear sentient beings so courageously. And for that matter, we have to remove the mental defilements. And to remove the mental defilements, finally should be done by employing the ultimate remedy, which is none other than the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness must be driven by a very powerful force of the Bodhicitta. And this Bodhicitta must be supported by the great compassion, grounded on renunciation. With this mind, imagining that you are leading this recitation, the practice, and all your dear mother sentient beings, including parents, children, everyone is joining you in this practice, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are there as the witness for us. With this mind, let's turn to the prayer. We'll say it together. Imagine that you are leading this, and everyone is joining you. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanye joda zoge jo namla chanjo bardo dane gyapsu che dage jinso kebe tsonamge tola penjira sanye jubara sho sanye choda soge cho namla chanjo bardo dane gyapsu che dage jinso kebe tsonamge tola penjira sanye jubara sho sanye choda soge cho namla Chanjo bardo dane gyapso che dage jinso gebe sonamge Twala penjere sangye jubare sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Okay, a quick reminder. As we recite these verses, there are three ways of reciting it. One, we recite the words, but the meanings are not reflected and the experience is not invoked. Number two, words are recited, the meanings are reflected, but the experience may not be invoked. And the third part is more difficult, where words are recited, the meanings are reflected, and the experiences are invoked. For that matter, we need some experience through, say, the consistent, concerted efforts. So if you don't have it, doesn't matter. At least we make the point that as we recite the words to the best of your ability to, say, they reflect on the meanings, that the meanings are reflected. This is so important. Okay, the third repetition. Okay, second repetition. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all lead hearers seeking pacification and complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths cause those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subduers expound a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gently demand a full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Okay, let's recite this mantra by reflecting meanings as much as possible. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaya Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite, such as the nectar light Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I return to the woods. Beyond our trends, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space, is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I be obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, we'll recite the Harsutta mantra 5 times. As we recite this, just let us visualize that we are on the vulture's peak. And the Buddha Shakyamuni presiding over the day with His Holiness. Particularly, let us pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the good health of His Holiness the Dalai Lama is so, so precious. The world is desperately in need of His Holiness to really inspire others, for advice to be sought from Him. And the courage and warmth and vision that His Holiness has for the world. Let's pray that His Holiness live long. And we are all doing this practice for His Holiness, for Him to live long, and that His wishes be fulfilled for the world. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate 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 Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Foundation of all good qualities. DJ Darangir. Okay, next we'll recite the foundation of all good qualities. This is foundation of all good qualities. This is like the blueprint or the roadmap to what we are doing now, and from there how to get to Buddhahood. This roadmap is given here, And it's consists of just 7 of the 14 verses, and see that not just you, myself included, that our daily life activities that you conduct, whether or not they're in line with these 14 verses. Okay, page 42. The one of the editions, I don't know which edition, page 42, fourth edition. Okay, page 42. Let us read this, and again, as I said earlier, just see if the meanings can be reflected as we recite this. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and the perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect, understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once. It is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtuous and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great question arise. The root of the teaching is keeping pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I've pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind's frame the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the true attainments is keeping pure vows in Samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of these 2 stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, may quickly attain the Sri Vajratara. Okay, the next is a short mantle offering. So this says in ways that in order to follow the path, say for a very noble task, we need lots of merit. Just as like you are on a journey, for a long journey, the car should have enough fuel. With that, likewise, we need enough merit, and one of the most efficient way by which to accumulate such a amount of merit within a short span of time is by making the best of the things that we have in this world, the best of things on the largest scale to be offered to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. So this is what we're doing here. And yeah, with this mind, first we'll say this in Tibet English, followed by Tibetan, and the Tibetan I'll include the tune or the melody. Okay, with this hand gesture, if you know how to do this. If you don't know this, it doesn't matter. Just imagine that all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, you are offering the best of the things that you have to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. And all sentient beings are doing that. On this ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as the Buddha feels and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajibyoge Joje Mendo Tam Rerab Lejenyen Gambode Sanje Shendo Mede Buvaye Togunam Da Shenla Chubarai Shu. The next request that we make after offering the material to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, the four Dhammas of Venerable Gambupa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen at the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality, on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Ratna Mendela Gamniratiyame. Okay, so now the actual practice. Actual practice. For this consists of the 4 points. Number one is in other words, to make it very simple, is that now we have already laid the ground, made the ground fertile, and now we have to plant the very healthy seed that the sprout of enlightenment happens. What is that? That is, by removing the mental defilements, then the seed is already there within us, the Buddha nature, that needs to be awakened. That has to be awakened by applying the remedies. And what kind of remedies? We have to know the nature of the defilements. Nature of defilement is afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations. Afflictive obscurations rooted to self-grasping ignorance. And the cognitive obscurations, the subtle stains of these afflictive obscurations. And in other words, the ignorance and the subtle stains. So the remedy must lie in the wisdom, very powerful wisdom. So with this in mind, this wisdom is like the light. The ignorance is like darkness. And darkness can be eradicated by introducing light. And the light should have 2 qualities. One, that the light should be extremely brilliant and powerful. And the other, the light should be very steady. It should not be wavering. So this light, the steadiness of the light, for that we need the shamatha practice. And then for the brightness of the light, we need the wisdom. And this light must be used by somebody with a tremendous enthusiasm. That is the bodhicitta. And this bodhicitta must be supported by renunciation. So with this in mind, we have 5 points. One is the shamatha practice. Number 2 is renunciation practice. Number 3 is bodhicitta. And finally, the wisdom. So these 4. So these are 4 things that we're doing here. First, we'll do the single point of meditation or the shamatha practice, 5 minutes, and I'm going to just give a quick, the instruction. For that, what we do is that the Namgela, Krishna. Okay. For this, we'll do it for 5 minutes, and you decide whatever you like to practice, you practice that. Meaning is a single point of meditation to build the stability practice. And I can see, and those who are on the screen, I can see that you're all very serious and sincere practitioners. Because of this, I don't have to give too much of details of this meditation, just to make sure that we sitting wise, body upright yet flexible. It should not be rigid, and then the eyes should not be closed. Eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down, and just check once in a while to check if your mind is under the sway of the two areas of meditation: mental laxity and excitement. And to overcome these two, we have to resort to the introspection and mindfulness. And those of us who are not too familiar with this, don't worry too much. Just do a practice, and later on, I would highly recommend you to look for. You can also write to us that if we can send you the meditation, say the recordings of the meditation practice. So this is all available there. Okay, because there are many senior practitioners also. I don't want to waste their time. So 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Before we move to the next, which is renunciation, just take a short break, 10 seconds. Okay, ready? Next is renunciation. For the renunciation, the main of the renunciation is to renounce your miseries, renounce your fears, renounce the lack of freedom. In other words, to gain the total freedom and the total fearlessness. For that matter, we have to identify what exactly is renunciation. And for that matter, renunciation, to know the renunciation meaning so well, but how to renounce the miseries, by renounce the cause of the miseries. E dharma hetu prabhava. And what are the causes of miseries? Of course, there are various ways by which to identify the cause of miseries. One of which is in terms of the four distorted views, viewing impermanent phenomena as permanent, viewing miseries as happiness, viewing the impure things as pure, and viewing the selfless phenomena as of selfhood. So we need to counteract these four misconceptions by cultivating the four proper conceptions or the four valid cognitions. So that is what you're going to do. It's going to be more in the form of a guided meditation. And all along this meditation, what is expected that you not to try to look for correlations between what we are guided here, what you learned before. Just follow the instructions and try your best to invoke the respective experiences. So this is what is expected. Are you ready? Okay. Renunciation is to renounce your miseries. To renounce miseries, we need to renounce the cause of the miseries. To renounce the cause of the miseries, the best way by which to do so is by removing the four distorted views. The first one, all composite things are impermanent. This impermanence is of two kinds, the gross and the subtle. The gross one, the impermanence of death, the collapse of the buildings, collapse of the regime, and beautiful sunset disappearing, beautiful flowers withering, and this COVID-19, the very near and dear ones of yours disappeared, left the world. This is the gross impermanence, and this can hit us anytime. This can hit your near and dear ones anytime. This is reality. And these are unavoidable facts. We think more of this. We think more of this impermanence, where the continuum of your beloved, your cherished moments determine it. The more we become realistic of our being. The people who live today, there are 7 billion human beings on this earth. And just we are, say, some doing this practice, Bodhicitta retreat, observing the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. And yet there's so many people so many young newborns, and so many going into indulgence, and so forth. And the parents have their children with so much expectation from the children. Children also trying to live up to the expectation of the parents. This is exactly what happened 200 years ago. Same thing. Now where are all these people? They're all gone. Even the memory, except for a few people, like 99% of the people 200 years ago, they're all gone, including the memories, gone. It's quite scary to think of that. It makes us quite sad. 200 years in the future from today, the 7 billion human beings today, most likely 99% of the people will not even be remembered. And yet, let's keep in mind, not even a single person, even born, the one who's born today, will be seen that year, 200 years in the future. The whole world is going to be different. What kind of regime will come, we never know. This is reality. And even if you have so much expectation, so much of plans for your children, for yourself, and so forth, along with the plans, whether they are accomplished or not accomplished, they're all gone. This is the day which will surely be visible, seen, witnessed by the people in those days, 20 years later, this impermanence. And this impermanence is possible only if that change is happening on the yearly basis, on a monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis. Yes. This is how all these complex things are changing. Second by second they are changing, including a body, including a mind, including your near and dear ones. This is how all composite things are changing momentarily. We seem to be so static. But this is how our perceptions deceive us. In reality, this is how all composite things move so fast. And do you see the change? Do you understand what the change is on the second level? Yes, we look at the second hand of the watch or the clock. It's moving, it moves. Tick, 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 tick. This is how it moves. And 1 second, in order to see this change, in order for this change to be possible, the change must be there on the millisecond level. Do you know what is millisecond level? Millisecond is 1 second split into 1,000 divisions. Then on that level, all compositions move so fast. This is how things move so fast. Very scary indeed. My body, my mind, myself, my near and dear ones, the whole world, even the beautiful flowers, all the composite things, they move so fast. It's very scary. If this is how it moves so fast, then where are we going? To what direction are we going? Are we heading towards? Very scary. The faster it moves, the faster I realize it moves, more scary it is. Where am I moving? Where am I moving towards? Towards what? Yes. Imagine that you're on the platform, train platform, and there's an extremely fast-moving train, and a stranger just picks you up and throws you into the fast-moving train. You see that the train moves so fast, and the faster the train, the more the fear. Why? You don't know where this train is taking you. So who decides? The train driver decides. If the train driver is your parents, lucky that you'll be taken to a picnic spot. But if the train driver is a terrorist, then you are very unfortunate. The faster the train moves, more the scary you are being taken to a slaughterhouse. In our case, what is that train driver? is none other than on a mind, and a mind is under the sway of the terrorists like the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude. Is so scary. Then it is taking us towards the death, and after that, where? After that totally unknown world. Very scary. This is the meaning of all contaminated things are suffering nature. As long as we are under the contamination of the two demons, self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude, the experience that we go through is only miseries. What kind of miseries? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, lamentation, bewilderment, and so forth. One moment of such miseries, one moment of such a tragedy is good enough to nullify all the past experience with wonders, merriment, celebrations, festivities. Yes, one moment is good enough just to experience this whole world as so shallow, gloomy, and grim. Very sad, profoundly sad. Yes. And when will this stop? 2020, it stopped already. When will this misery stop? They will never stop on their own. But with effort, they will come to an end. What kind of effort? Impermanence is of three kinds, where the continuum never ends, like the time, like the self, like the mind. And there's another class of impermanence where invariably they come to an end at one point, like 2020, your youth, and so forth. And the third category of the impermanent phenomena, where with effort you can bring an end to it. Without effort, it will just perpetuate endlessly, referred to as the cyclic existence, samsara. Okay, so these miseries, they fall into category, the third category. Where you put effort, this can be brought to end. What kind of effort? I'm so keen to apply the effort to terminate this illness. I'm so tired and exhausted. Felt so exhausted. Since time immemorial, this is the story of my life. Sickness, aging, death, tension, the loss of near and dear ones, and so forth, and myself, death of myself, and so forth. Yes. Track the cause of these miseries and terminate that, and you will see the miseries get terminated. What is that cause? Self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains. How to terminate that? By applying the very powerful remedy. What is that remedy? The cause being the ignorance, the remedy must be the wisdom, the light of the wisdom. What is that wisdom? The discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? The reality is that everything is like a dream. Why should you be affected by the dream? Know that the dream is dream. As long as you see the dream is real, no matter how unreal that is, it will continue to affect you. You put into nightmares. Okay. So what is this dreamlike nature? This is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. How can I know this? Okay. Let us quickly meditate on emptiness of the self. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. How does this person appear to you? How does the person who you identify as self, I, Dorji, how do you see this person? Like a dream? The way in the manner in which the dream is projected by your own mind, this self is also projected by your mind, or no, it has nothing to do with the mind or the dream. Like it's so solidly there, so objectified there. This is the self-grasping ignorance, believing that this self exists as so independently of the mind. This is self-grasping. How can I know that this self-grasping ignorance? How can I know this ignorance in the first place? How can this be the valid cognition? Yes. If this self does exist as truly real, remember what Aranigarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why don't those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, if this self would exist objectively, why not I see this self as I go closer to this self, to this object? Okay, let us go close to this object, and anything you encounter which is not a self, let's just ignore, because you are looking for there's a self to be objectively real. Objective was there's a self. This is what you're looking for, and when you find something which is not a self, we'll just ignore. Okay, let us go closer to the self. The mind which goes closer to the object is known as the ultimate analysis. Let us subject the self to the ultimate analysis to see if the self does exist objectively. Going closer to the self, we first see the thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not me. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Also not me. Let us be so precise that we actually go there. We actually go there into these, one layer after the other, after the other. Behind the fatty tissues, the muscles, the cartilages. Of course, these are not me. Alongside the whole skeleton, the skull, and all the complete skeleton. Of course, that is not me. Alongside the blood vessels, heart, the lungs, the liver, spleen, gallbladder, intestine. Nothing of these solid parts constitute this self. These solid parts constitute the element earth. The element of earth is not me. Okay, ignore, keep them aside. What is left? Element water. 4 liters of blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of fire. 2005 joules of energy that a body has. Even that is also not me. Keep that aside. Element of fire. Element of air. The 416 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, that is not me. Keep that aside. Element of space. 99% of the body is space, is vacuum. But I'm a solid person. Vacuum is the space vacuum in nature. I'm not the space. Keep that aside. What is left now? The consciousness or the mind is left. Even this mind is also not me. I'm a male. I'm a female. The mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So this mind is also not me. And also that people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So even this element of consciousness or the element of mind is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay, what is left now? Nothing is left there, to my surprise. Nothing is left there as the self. Now subjected to this ultimate analysis, nothing is found there as a self. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements, subjecting this self to the ultimate analysis, you end up seeing 6 elements. Which of 6 elements is the self? None. Which means you see this self is not intrinsically or objectively one with this self. With the elements. Elements are not to be identified as the intrinsic objective self. Okay, if the elements are not to be identified as the intrinsic self, then perhaps the self, if it does exist intrinsically, it may exist as intrinsically different from the elements. Remove the elements, what you find there, nothing is found there as intrinsically different from the elements. Stay in this experience. Seeing that none of the elements are to be identified as intrinsic self, if you are really convinced that none of these 6 elements is intrinsically the self, this is your understanding of the emptiness of object being one with its parts. And if you see that besides the six elements, nothing is there to be identified as intrinsically the self, intrinsically different from the elements. If you're that sure of that, nothing's left there. That is your understanding of the emptiness of objects, the self being different from the elements, or the different from the parts. So these are only two options for the self to exist intrinsically. And both of these two do not hold true, which means that if these two possibilities are in vain, then the self cannot possibly exist objectively. If you're really sure of this, this is the understanding of the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with its parts and different from its parts entails the emptiness of the self being empty of objective reality. In other words, that if you are 100% sure that from the object, intrinsically from the object, there's nothing there to identify as a self, the self is nowhere to be seen there when subjected to the ultimate analysis. So there's nothing to identify as self. You just feel the vast expanse of the vacuum left by the self. Self is not able to identify. Just stay in this non-affirming negative experience of the emptiness of the self. Stay in this experience. Okay, this experience was known as experience of the space-like emptiness. Okay, now imagine this amazing experience. But what's the benefit? Yes, in this experience, you see that this self dissolves. Just as self dissolves, if you subject all your miseries, all your fears to the same analysis, they will also dissolve. So where all these miseries dissolve, your disturbance dissolves, your sorrow dissolves. This is the experience when you transcend the sorrow. Transcendent sorrow is the absolute peace that you're experiencing. This absolute peace is what you are seeking. And the genuine desire that may I be able to experience this emptiness where all my sorrows dissolve into the experience of the deep, profound peace. That aspiration is known as renunciation. This is the final understanding, most refined understanding of renunciation. Stay in this experience of renunciation for a while. That's aspiration. Then may I soon experience this emptiness where all my miseries, fears, limitations dissolve. Okay, slowly come out of this meditation. Come out, come out. Okay, before we switch to Bodhicitta, let's take just a few seconds. Okay, good, ready? Okay, Bodhicitta now. For the Bodhicitta, we will do the two of the four immeasurables, immeasurable loving kindness and immeasurable compassion, due to constraint of time. And when you do that yourself, I would highly recommend you to do the one of the two methods, either both methods or one of the two methods, which is the sevenfold cause-effect method to generate bodhicitta, and the method of equalizing and exchanging self for others. Okay, ready? We're extremely fortunate that we are doing this practice. So let us invoke the spirit of, let us invoke all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be the witness, but the witness of ours. And let us also visualize your true parents, all the family members, including children, and all dear mothers and sentient beings around you. And you're inspiring all of them to practice the Bodhicitta. Okay, with this in mind, immeasurable loving kindness. Just try to invoke the experience to the best you can. And sometimes it may sound a little superficial, it doesn't matter. Just think of the practicing music. Initially, when you practice music, there's no music coming out. And you just imitate, mimic what your teacher is doing, and over time, the real music comes out over time. This is what happens. Even with the Bodhicitta, initially we just mimic, the great masters, and eventually it becomes real and very moving experience. Okay. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of Bodhicitta. And may all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. Like the mother, after all these many years of raising her children, today the eldest daughter, just age 12, eldest son, just age 11, they come to the mother, telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. We're already grown up. We'll take care of all our siblings." And the mother could not believe her eyes, believe her ears and eyes. What's happening today? She's just become so emotional, with so much of feeling of pride and happiness to hear this, to see this. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They're so happy to see that you're making such a courageous commitment. This pride and happiness Buddhist Bodhisattvas experience it now. They invoke the compassionate, omniscient minds to send the nectars of soothing lights towards you and all dear sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars from the Buddhist Bodhisattvas with the bodies of yours and all the dear sentient beings instills in all happiness and the causes of happiness within the beings, within all the beings in yourself. And you witnessing such miracles happening towards all the dear sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sighing with relief. Next, immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing the Remembrance, such a courageous commitment, they're intensely happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion, omniscient minds to sense the nectars and very soothing lights towards you and all ultimate sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the body speaks yours. Washes away all the miseries and the cause of miseries, primarily the self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, the COVID-19, the anxiety, stress, anguish, depression, sadness, lamentation, bewilderment, confusion. And the Buddhist Bodhisattvas witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, that intense happiness and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion, omniscient minds to send for nectars of very soothing lights towards you and all ultimate sentient beings. The mere touch of lights and nectars with the bodies and beings of yours frees the beings from all these miseries. And you, witnessing such a miracle is happening towards you and all ultimate sentient beings, you are intense happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Underscoring all the four immeasurables is the unconditional love towards all dear sentient beings. Just abide in the experience of unconditional love, imagining that you are piercing through the eyes of each of the sentient beings with love, affection, and care, reassuring them that I'm there, have no fear, I'm there to take care of you. And all the beings, all sentient beings, they are so relieved to see themselves as so special in your eyes. With this mind, with folded hands, I'll say line of Bodhicitta commitment, and let us all say this 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Just abide in this most beautiful mind, in this universe, this unconditional love of Bodhicitta. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotlessly clean moon disk, 1 inch, 1.5 inches in diameter, horizontally sitting with a heart. Wow, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. But how can you say that you can become a Buddha? You can become a full enlightened being. No matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out of that. Yes, that's true. But I'm not like that. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, not like a handful of a handful of sands. Squeezing off this handful of sunflower seeds, oil comes out of it. But why the oil did not come, why the Buddha did not come to you since time immemorial till now? Why not? If you have this potential. That's very true. It's all because that since time immemorial till now, I'm being just fooled, deceived by the 2 demons, self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. Today, I discovered this reality. I'm now disillusioned by these 2, and henceforth, I will do everything to terminate these 2 demons. How can you do that? But it's sort of a very powerful remedy. What is that? The wisdom of emptiness. Okay, let's quickly reinforce the meditation emptiness which we did before. What are you doing? I'm meditating. How does this self appear to you? Like a dream projected by your mind, or so solidified, objectified there, so well defined as independent of the mind? Of course, so solidified, defined, well defined, independent from mind. That is self grasping ignorance. Okay, if it does exist the way it appears to me, when subject to the ultimate analysis, I should be able to find it the way we did before. So, subjecting this to ultimate analysis, going closer towards this, we end up seeing element earth, the solid parts, the heart, the lungs, the skeleton, and so forth. Element water, 4 liters of the blood. Element of fire, the body heat. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air. Element of space, element of consciousness. Okay, now tell me. Now you are seeing the 6 elements. Which of 6 elements is self? None is a 6 element. None of the 6 elements is self. Okay. So if the self does exist independently, objectively there, then it must be something different from these 6 elements. Keeping aside the 6 elements, where is the self existing as intrinsically real, independent of the 6 elements? Nothing is left there as intrinsically real as the self. To my amazement, the self was nowhere to be found there objectively. Stay in this experience. Okay. So this is the most fearless mind in this world, in the universe. Slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the moon disk of your heart. Okay, that's amazing. Now you have the moon disk, which is symbolic of the conventional Bodhicitta, and a Vajra, symbolic of ultimate Bodhicitta, to counteract the 2 demons. Amazing. But what about your 2 parents? What about your children? What about all the dear mother sentient beings? That's very true. With intense love and affection, the Vajra moon at your heart multiplies infinite number of times. And share one set of the Vajra moon at the heart of your mother, one set at the heart of your dad, one set with each of your children, your family members, each of the sentient beings, each of the human beings, the animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses. Okay, now all the sentient beings, they have the Vajra moon that you have distributed. It's so beautiful moment, amazing, so precious. Let's not forget that the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are watching us. Yes, why not we invite all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as the guests, as a witness to undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. So, as a gesture of making request to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations, along with all dear sentient beings, to make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay, just see if you can sit on your the right knees. Whereas if you don't have a space, no worry, don't worry. And you can then sit on a chair, whatever is more comfortable, do that. Whereas if you can, then sit on your right knees. And those who have knee problems or you don't have a space, then sit in whichever position is fine. Okay, and meanwhile, since that it may take it'll take some time, maybe a few minutes. So in the process, if you start to feel pain to your knees or legs, and then at that point, just feel free to sit in the most comfortable position. If the pain persists, then your mind will be distracted. The taking the aspirin bodhisattva vow will not happen. So therefore, in the process, if you feel pain, you can sit in the most comfortable position. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll recite the following verses together, and this is a great opportunity for us. In fact, I personally do this almost on a daily basis, but then together with you, this becomes a very special. It is more powerful. And with this in mind, I'm going to quickly explain the first verse. First, we recite the first verse 3 times. So what we are doing is we're making a pledge, and the point is that anybody can take this pledge. It is not that you should be a Buddhist or if I take this pledge, and then there must be so many commitments that I have to follow. No, there's no commitment at all. If at all there's some commitment, that is that from today onwards, I'll try my best to be kind with others. And at least I will not harm others. This much, if you can commit, that's good enough to be a part of this ceremony. Okay. With this in mind, the journey is for your own good, to achieve fearlessness and to achieve the infinite happiness. For that matter, we need great support. And the greatest of the support that we can think of is the Triple Gem. So it says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. Now, with the greatest of support on the journey is a mental journey. This journey, the road must be clear. The road is none other than a mind. This mind must be clear of the defilements to the best we can. And the best way by which to do so is by confessing the negativities. So the second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Okay, now let's say the road is very clear. But if the car does not have fuel, again, you cannot move. So the car is none other than your own mind, and the mind should have enough fuel, the fuel of merit. And the manner in which we can accumulate so much of merit within a short span of time is by rejoicing in the virtues of yourself, the virtues of others, and virtues of all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now you have a great support, and the road is clear, and your car has so much of fuel. Now, what kind of journey are you going to undertake? I'm going to take the journey of enlightenment to achieve Buddhahood for myself and for all the beings. The fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. Okay, we'll say this 3 times together wholeheartedly, and imagine that you are leading this and all sentient beings are joining us. And should you feel the pain, please feel comfortable to sit in the most comfortable position. Don't force yourself to bear the pain. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next two verses is invoking your gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be your witness. And then the first verse is related to yourself, to all the Buddhas, the Buddhas, and the second verse is related to you. And you are so motivated to benefit all the beings, seeing how the beings are suffering terribly because of ignorance. And you look at the history of the humanity to see if there is anybody who succeeded in doing that. Yes, there was Prince Siddhartha, who succeeded to become the awakened being under the Bodhi tree. And how come that he succeeded in that? And now, 2,500 years elapsed, and still billions and billions and billions and billions of the human beings, non-human beings, spirits, they are being constantly benefited. So how come that he succeeded in that? Okay, he succeeded in that because of 2 factors. One, a very powerful motivation, the motivation of Bodhicitta. Number 2, to materialize this aspiration of Bodhicitta, to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, he actually engaged in the Bodhisattva practices such as 6 perfections and the 4 perfections, making 10. So this is with the Buddhas, if this is how he succeeded, I'll follow his footsteps. I will also generate the very powerful bodhicitta, and I will also engage in the bodhisattva practices. So this is what we have to reflect on. Okay, let's say this three times together. And again, same thing. Imagine that you are leading this and your family members, including your parents, children, and everyone, all sentient beings are joining you, so happily joining you the way the eldest, the daughter or the let's say the eldest of the sibling, maybe just very young child, age 6, 7, but taking all the younger ones along with her or along with him to do something good. This is exactly what you're doing now. So imagine all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas there watching us, and then you are inspiring all the sentient beings to take this action Bodhisattva vow. Okay. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as the previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successively dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall to successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall to successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of bodhicitta, and I shall to successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, now visualize that the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are so happy. Just imagine that you, as a very young girl, age 5, 6, or a young boy, age 5, 6, for the first time in your life, you are making a public appearance on behalf of your school, and your parents will be so proud. They will leave everything behind to join as the audience, waving the hands to you, saying that we are there, you are doing so good. This is what the parents will feel proud of you. This is exactly what is happening here. All the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are so proud of you today. And just imagine that the mother, all these many years, you as a child, bring only embarrassments, complaints from the school, and today the school principal comes, escorted by other teachers, and then again the mother is worried. What kind of complaints? This time the teacher said, the principal, no. Your daughter and your son, two of them are appointed as selected as the best students of the school for this year. We are so proud of your children. 2 children. Oh, the mother could not believe her eyes. In all these many years she has been hearing complaints, and today she cannot believe her eyes and ears. This is exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They're so proud. All these innumerable lifetimes, we have been bringing only embarrassment to the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. They want the best for us, but we do just the opposite. And today we are doing something very different, which only makes the Buddhist Bodhisattva proud of you. So with this pride, the pride and the happiness the Buddhist Bodhisattvas feel, imagine that the Vajra moon at the heart of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to multiply infinite number of times. In mirage like rain shower, these replicas of Vajra moon, they descend to merge with the one that we visualize in the heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, in mirage, all these replicas of Vajra moon from the hearts of Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that we visualize in the heart of your mother, the heart of your dad, at the heart of each one of your children, each of your family members, each of the human beings, the animals, insects, harigus, health beings, god and goddesses, everyone. That's amazing. This is the greatest meaning of your life. And today you've extracted this greatest meaning. And this greatest gift that you can possibly think of giving to all the sentient beings, to all the demon sentient beings. And today you did it. And this is the best of the offering that you can think of to make to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. And today you did it. This is amazing. This is a time which really deserves to be praised, which really deserves to be celebrated. And this all happens because of the kindness of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, let us again stand up to make three prostrations along with all Dhamma sentient beings. Let's make three prostrations. Okay, please take your seats. Now sit comfortably. Okay, now we will do the little bit of mantra recitation before we complete, wind up. First, Buddha Shakyamuni mantra. Demo. Okay, as we recite the mantras, just all these mantras, when we recite it, the deity associated, the Buddha associated, we visualize the Buddha over your crown. And then as you recite the mantra, visualize that from the Buddha's, the forehead, the throat and heart, and the nectars descend, flow towards you and towards all the beings, towards the world. And the sanctifying the whole world, and the washing away the COVID-19, and washing away all the ailments, diseases, the depressions, and so forth, and healing the world. Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Soha. 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 Om Muni Muni Mahamuni Swaha. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Omara Bazanade, 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 Omara Bazanade. Omara Bazanade, 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 Omara Bazanade. Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Dudare Dure Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, 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 Om Dare Dudare Dure Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha, Om Dare Dudare Dure Om Dare Dudare Dure Soha. Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, 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 Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, 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 Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum, 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 Om Ahom Benza Guru Bema Siddhi Hum. We will recite the Mixama. We'll recite the Mixama 3 times, and then we will do the integration prayer. Before the integration prayer, we'll say the Mixama, yes. Okay, most of you already know that as we recite this, there are 5 lines, but just to suit the melody, the 3rd line is skipped. We recite it 3 times. Kanjen kebe tsugen tsongkaba lo san tabe shablai sovade me zewe tere se me kembe ombo jambe yang kanjen kebe tsugen tsongkaba lo san tabe shablai sovade me zewe tere se me kembe ombo jambe yang kanjen kebe tsugen tsongkaba lo san tabe shablai sovade. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-reverential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage's land with snows, Lobsang at your feet, I make prostrations. Okay, direction prayer. Okay, so they no doubt that we have accumulated so much of merit, so meaningful, and thank you so much, each and every one of you. And let us dedicate that all these merits that we accumulated in the first place, that is holiness, the truth of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And he must live long. His health must be very good for the world. And even though the leaders, for whatever reason, but deep inside mind, they know that there's somebody there who works for the world. We are not the really ones. We are not the ones who are working for the world, but there's somebody there who really thinks for the world. They know that. So that his own presence itself affects these people's thinking, that if the destruction is like 60%, otherwise it would become like 80%. So it's because of his presence that the people are constantly being affected, positively affected, the leaders. So he must live long for the world. And also let us pray that all these learning centers of the Buddhist teachings of compassion and wisdom, of all the traditions, like the Theravada tradition, the Chinese tradition, the Tibetan tradition. Within Tibetan tradition, there are Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelug, Chonang, and all these traditions who really, to put effort to bring this teaching of the Buddha to light for the world. May these centers, they thrive with the activities of study, reflection, and meditation. And may the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness and the Bodhicitta flourish, thrive in all three times, in every nook and corner of the world, in the universe. And may I personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through concerted effort, be able to soon see the dawn of the Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta, possibly that exists in the universe, and the most fearless mind that possibly exists in the universe as the wisdom of emptiness, that you soon see the dawn within you, and that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all dear sentient beings to his ultimate happiness. With this mind, let us recite the following verses. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful generous Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as a bereft Manjushri in Samadhi too realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow the perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by all the Buddhas who appeared in the three times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. Chanjo samjo ramboche age panam Kya gyoro chi kya ba nyam ba me ba ya kone kondo pe barai sho. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into that enlightened state. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization that these in the prayers of all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of three times, and to the upholding of Dharma of teaching and realization. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the four wheels of the Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the two stages. With a wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I journey the mode of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. By the power of practicing and supplicating to you, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and auspiciousness proliferate in all the places where we abide. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is loosely explained by the protector of both the Dharma and the beings of the land of snows. Where the Lord is holder Tenzin Gyatso, we supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans or non-humans who hereby merit through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may enjoy the manifesting Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations and the paths, may I attain the state of Vajratara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of independent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Deata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha Tyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha Tyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. That's all. Aje pembla phumi peson. Or testile sonrona. Oh. Aje pembla's two daughters joined them. Testile phumi. Testile. Ah, chipure. Okay. That's all tujana. Oh, that's all testile. Oh, that's all. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Okay.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Thank you, Mahatma. Good night.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you.